Hello and good morning, beautiful, beautiful people. How are you doing on this wonderful Saturday? I hope you had a great week. Today we are on episode 7 of reading through the Bible, and we're taking it from Genesis to Revelation and getting our questions answered in between, if in fact there are questions. So feel free to drop those questions in the chat if you have them. Last week, we read about Isaac. So Abraham and his wife, Sarah, end up having the child that God promised them. They named him Isaac. And Sarah and Abraham end up passing away. However, before Isaac dies, he instructs his servant to go and find a wife for his son Jacob. He does not want his son to go get the wives of the daughters of Canaan or even Moab. Hello, good morning, Nope. How are you doing today? He doesn't want the daughters of Canaan and Moab, and we'll find out why that is more in depth a little bit later, but he ends up finding a wife. And so taking it from there, that's where we are. So today, if you are following along in your Bible, we are on Genesis chapter 28, starting at verse 10. Okay, so chapter 28, verse 10. Jacob's dream at Bethel. And Jacob went out from Beersheba and went towards Haran. And he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night because the sun was set. And he took of the stones of that place and put them for his pillows and lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of God ascended and descending on it. And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham, thy father, and the God of Isaac. And the land where thou lie, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south. And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all places where you go, and will bring thee again into this land, for I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken of thee. Good morning, Freddie B. Good morning. Good to see you all. I hope you guys had a good week. And Jacob awakened out of his sleep and said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I knew it not. And he was afraid and said, how dreadful is this place? This is none other but the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. And Jacob rose up early in the morning and took the stone that he had put for his pillows and set it up for a pillar and poured oil upon the top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethel. But the name of that city was called Luz at first. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if God will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put upon, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my God. And this stone which I have set for the pillar shall be God's house, and of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give the 10th unto thee. Okay, wow. So he didn't even just follow. He didn't even just follow God blindly. He was like, okay, you say you're going to do this. I'm going to test you. I'm going to follow you. I'm going to follow your word. And I'm going to see if you bring me again to this place that you said you promised. So that's pretty awesome. Then Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east, and looked, and behold, a well in the field, and lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth. And there were all the flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in his place. And Jacob said unto them, my brethren, whence be ye? And they said, of Haran are we. And he said unto them, know ye Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, we know him. And he said unto them, is he well? And they said, he is well. And behold, Rachel his daughter comes with the sheep. And he said, Lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep and go and feed them. And they said, We cannot until all the flocks are gathered here together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth, then we can water the sheep. And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother and that he was Rebekah's son, and she ran and told her father. And it came to pass when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to kiss him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him into the house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said unto him, Surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, Because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for nothing? Tell me, what shall thy wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. Jacob loved Rachel. And he said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. And Laban said, It is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for he had love for her, for the love he had for her. And Jacob said unto Laban, Give me my wife, and my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. Yeah, tender eye, right? And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maid, for a handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said unto Laban, What is this thou hast done to me? Did not I serve thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said, It must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou serve with me yet another 7 years. And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week, and gave him Rachel his daughter to wife also. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah his handmaid to be her maid. And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben, for she said, Surely the Lord hath looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me. And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, Because the Lord has heard that I was hated, he has therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon. And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, Now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Levi. And she conceived again and bare a son, and she said, Now will I praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah, and left bearing. So I just want to clarify something really quickly. Often you'll see, especially when these men do take on multiple wives, the Lord always specifies that one is loved and the other is hated. There's no way that you can, I'm just going off biblically. It's the same concept as you love one and hate the other. You can't serve 2 masters. One wife is always loved and the other one is always considered hated. It doesn't mean that hatred is an anger, like you want to, do something to her, but it just acknowledges that. I think it just acknowledges that there's no way to love 2 masters. So I just wanted to clarify that. So chapter 30. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, Give me children, or else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, Am I in God's stead? Who has withheld from thee the fruit of thy womb? And she said, Behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. Sometimes when women couldn't bear children, they would have children through their maids, and it would be considered their children. So she gave Bilhah her handmaid to wife, and Jacob went unto her, and Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son. And Jacob said, God has judged me and has heard also my voice and has given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again and bare Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, With great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali. When Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah, her maid, and gave her to Jacob to wife. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a son. And Leah said, A troop comes, and she called his name Gad. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a second son. And Leah said, Happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. And Reuben went in the days of the wheat and harvest and found mandrakes in the field and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, Give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes. And she said unto her, Is it a small matter that thou hast taken my husband? And wouldest thou take away my son's mandrakes also? And Rachel said, Therefore he shall lie with me tonight for thy son's mandrakes. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him and said, Thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night. And God hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob the fifth son. And Leah said, God has given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. And Leah conceived again and bare Jacob the sixth son. And Leah said, God has endued me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne with him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. And afterwards she bare a daughter and called her name Dinah. And God remembered Rachel and hearkened to her and opened her womb. And she conceived and bare a son. And God said, and said, God has taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, and said, The Lord shall add to me another son. And it came to pass, when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, Send me away, that I may go to my own place, into my own country. Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served thee, and let me go, for thou knowest my service which I have done to thee. And Laban said unto him, I pray, if I have found favor in thy eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that the Lord has blessed me for thy sake. And he said, Appoint me thy wages, and I will give it. And he said unto him, Thou knowest how I have served thee, and how thy cattle was with me. For it was little which thou hast before I came, and now increase unto a multitude, and the Lord has blessed me since my coming. And now when I shall provide for my own also. And now when shall I provide for my own also? And he said, What shall I give thee? And Jacob said, Thou shalt not give me anything. If thou wilt do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep thy flock. And I will pass through all the flock today, removing from there all the speckled and spotted cattle, and all the brown cattle and among the sheep, and the spotted and speckled among the goats, and of such shall be my hire. So shall my righteousness answer for me in a time to come, when it shall come for my hire before thy face. Every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats, and brown among the sheep, that shall be counted stolen with me. And Laban said, Behold, I would it might be according to thy word. And he removed the he goats that were ring-streaked and spotted, and all the she goats that were speckled and spotted, and every one that had some white in it, and all the brown amongst the sheep, and gave them into the hand of his sons. And he set 3 days' journey between himself and Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flocks. And Jacob took his rods of green poplar, and of the hazel and chestnut tree, and peeled white streaks in them, and made the white appear which was in the rods. And he set the rods which he had peeled before the flocks in the gutters in the watering troughs with the flocks when the flocks came to drink, that they may conceive when they came to drink. And the flocks conceived before the rods, and brought forth cattle ring-streaked and speckled and spotted. And Jacob did separate the lambs and set the faces of the flocks toward the ringstrakes and all the brown in the flock of Laban. And he put his own flocks by themselves and put them not into Laban's cattle. And it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Jacob laid the rods before the eyes of the cattle in the gutters, that they might conceive among the rods. And when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. So the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger were Jacob's. And the man increased exceedingly, and had so much cattle, and maidservants, and men servants, camels, and asses. Okay, y'all understand that? So Laban was trying to get him to stay and work because he saw how blessed he was with Jacob just being there. Obviously, Jacob was a man of God. God was answering his prayers and things like that. So he noticed that. So he was trying to trick Jacob into staying. But anyways, let's read on. And he heard the words of Laban's son saying, Jacob hath taken away all that was our father's, and of that which was our father's has he gotten all this glory. And Jacob beheld the countenance of Laban, and behold, it was not toward him as before. Okay, so he lost favor with Laban. And the Lord said unto Jacob, return unto the land of thy fathers and to thy kindred, and I will be with thee. And Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field unto his flock, and said unto them, I see your father's countenance, that is not towards me as it was before, but the God of my father has been with me. And ye know that with all my power I have served your father, and your father has deceived me, and changed my wages 10 times, but God suffered him not to hurt me. If he said thus, the speckled shall be thy wages, then all the cattle bear speckled. And if he had said, the ringstraked shall be my hire, then bear all the cattle ringstraked. Thus God has taken away the cattle of your father and given them to me. And it came to pass at the time that the cattle conceived, that I lifted up my eyes and saw in a dream, and behold, the rams were leaped upon the cattle, were ringstraked, speckled, and grizzled. And the angel of God spake unto me in a dream, saying, Jacob. And I said, Here I am. And he said, Lift up now thine eyes, and see all the rams which leaped upon the cattle are ringstraked, speckled, and grizzled. For I have seen all that Laban does to you. I am the God of Bethel, where thou anointest the pillar, and where thou vowed a vow unto me. Now arise, get thee from this land, and return unto the land of thy kindred. And Rachel and Leah answered him and said, Is there yet any portion of inheritance for us from our father's house? Are we not counted of him strangers? For he has sold us, and has quite devoured also our money. For all the riches which God has taken from our father, that is ours, and our children's, now then, whatsoever God has said unto thee, do. Then Jacob rose up and set his sons and wives upon camels, and he carried away all his cattle and all his goods which he had gotten, and cattle of his getting, which he had gotten in Pandamaram, for to go to Isaac his father in the land of Canaan. And Laban went to shear his sheep, and Rachel had stolen the image that were with her father. And Jacob stole away unawares to Laban the Syrian, in that he told him not that he had fled. So he fled with all that he had, and he rose up and passed over the river and set his face toward Mount Gilead. And it was told Laban on the third day that Jacob had fled. And he took his brethren with him and pursued after him 7 days' journey, and they overtook him in Mount Gilead. And God came to Laban the Syrian in a dream by night and said unto him, Take heed that thou speak not to Jacob, either good or bad. Then Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mount, and Laban his brethren pitched in the mount of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, What hast thou done, that thou hast stolen away unawares to me, and carried away my daughters and captives taken with the sword? Wherefore did thou flee secretly and steal away from me, and did not tell me, that I might have sent thee away with mirth, and with songs, and tabret, and with harp, and has not suffered me to kiss my sons and my daughters? Thou hast not done foolishly in doing so. Thou hast now done foolishly in doing so. It is in the power of my hand to do you hurt. But God of your father spake unto me yesternight, saying, Take thou heed that thou speak not to Jacob either good or bad. And now, though thou wouldest needs be gone, because thou sore longest after thy father's house, yet wherefore hast thou stolen my goods? And Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid, for I said, peradventure thou wouldest take my force thy daughters from me. With whomsoever thou findest thy gods, let him not live before our brethren. Discern thou what is thine with me, and take it to thee. For Jacob knew not that Rachel had stolen them. Okay, so I know that that's a lot of words, y'all, but Rachel had stolen her father's idols, unbeknownst to even Jacob, unbeknownst to Jacob. So her father is looking for them. And that's what's going on right here. It's just a lot of words. And Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and into the two maidservants' tents, but he found them not. He's looking for his idols. Then he went out unto Leah's tent and entered into Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the images and put them in the camel's furniture and sat upon them. And Laban searched all the tent, but found them not. And she said unto her father, let it not displease my lord that I cannot rise up before thee, for the custom of women is upon me. And he searched, but found not the images. And Jacob was wroth and showed with Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, what is my trespass? What is my sin, that thou hast hotly pursued after me? Whereas thou hast searched all my stuff, what hast thou found of all thy house stuff? Set it here before my brother and thy brother, that they may judge between us. So if you find any of your stuff with my stuff, then put it on the ground and let us judge and see who stole what. This 20 years have I been with thee. Thy ewes, thy goats have not cast their young, and the rams of thy flock have I not eaten. That which was torn of beasts I brought not unto thee. I bear the loss of it. Of my hand didst thou require it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was in the day, the drought consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep departed from my eyes. Thus have I been 20 years in thy house. I served thee 14 years for 2 daughters, and 6 years for thy cattle, and thou hast changed my wages 10 times. Except the God of my father, the God of Abraham, the fear of Isaac, has been with me. Surely thou hast sent me away now empty. God has seen my affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked thee yesternight. And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, these daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and these cattle are my cattle, and all that thou seest is mine. And what can I do this day unto these my daughters, or unto their children which they have borne? Now therefore come, let us make a covenant, I and thou, and let it be for a witness between me and you. And Jacob took a stone and set it up for a pillar. And Jacob said unto his brother, gather stones. And they took stones and made a heap, and they did eat there upon the heap. And Laban called it Jagar Sahadutha, but Jacob called it Gilead. And Laban said, this heap is a witness between me and you this day. Therefore was the name called Gilead. And Mizpah, for he said, the Lord watch between me and thee when we are absent one another. If thou shalt afflict my daughters, or if thou shalt take other wives besides my daughters, no man is with us. See, God is the witness between me and thee. If thou shalt afflict my daughters, And Laban said to Jacob, behold this heap, and behold this pillar, which I have cast between me and thee. This heap be a witness, and this pillar be a witness, that I will not pass over this heap to thee, and that thou shalt not pass over this heap and this pillar unto me for harm. The God of Abraham and the God of Nahor and the God of their father judge between us. And Jacob sware by the fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered sacrifice upon the mount and called his brethren to eat bread. And they did eat bread and tarried all night in the mount. And early in the morning, Laban rose up, kissed his sons and his daughters, and blessed them. And Laban parted and returned unto his place. Woo-wee. All right. Okay, so Jacob finally gets to leave and depart from Laban, his father-in-law. He's able to take his wives, his 2 wives, and all the sons that he has, And now he's able to move into the place that God has prepared for him. It's prepared for him. It's 10:30. Y'all want me to read one more chapter? Or you want to leave it for next week? We can start. We'll start next week. Yes, one more. Okay, Freddie. Yes, one more. Okay, one more chapter. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. Okay, so Jacob is going to prepare to meet Esau. This is chapter 32. And Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's host." And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. Remember, Esau is Edom. And he commanded them, saying, "Thus shall ye speak unto my lord Esau. Thy servant Jacob says thus, I have sojourned with Laban and stayed there until now. And I have oxen and asses and flocks and men servants and women servants. And I have sent to tell my lord that I may find grace in thy sight." And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, "We came to thy brother Esau, and also he comes to meet thee, and 400 men with him." Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him, and the flocks and the herds and the camels into 2 bands, and said, "If Esau come to one company and smite it, then the other which is left shall escape." So he creates 2 different parties. Okay, the first party is going to go up ahead, because remember, him and his brother, the way that it ended, his brother had sold his birthright to him, and Jacob took it. He was like, "Okay, if you want to sell your birthright to me, fine." And that caused Esau to be upset. Now they're beefing. Jacob had escaped his brother's wrath, and he's been gone for 20 something years. Like he said, this is his first time even meeting them. So he's like, okay, if I send this first party ahead and they attack them, while they're attacking them, then the second party where my wives are and my children are, they can escape. Okay, so that's what's going on there. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him, the flocks, the bands, the herds, and the camel, the 2 bands. And he said, "If Esau come to one party and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape." And Jacob said, "O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, the Lord which saith unto me, Return unto thy country and to thy kindred, and I will deal well with thee. I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies of all thy truth, which thou hast showed unto thy servant. For with my staff I passed over this Jordan, and now I am become 2 bands. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me and the mother with the children. And thou sayest, I will surely do thee good, and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude." And he lodged there the same night, and took that which had come to his hand, a present for Esau his brother. 200 she-goats and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 milk camels and their colts, 40 kine, 10 bulls, 20 she-asses, and 10 fowls. And he delivered them into the hand of his servants, every drove by themselves, and said unto his servants, Pass over before me, and put a space between drove and drove. And he commanded the foremost, saying, When Esau my brother meets thee, and asks thee, saying, Whose art thou? And where didst thou go? And whose are these before thee? Then thou shalt say, They be my servant Jacob's. It is a present sent unto my lord Esau, and behold, also he is behind us. And so commanded he the second and the third, and all that followed in droves, saying, On this manner shall you speak unto Esau when you find him. So pretty much tell my brother, I got some gifts for him. So he's no longer mad with me. So went the present over before him, and himself lodged that night in the company. And he rose up that night and took his 2 wives and his 2 women servants and his 11 sons, and passed over ford Jabbok. And he took them and sent them over the brook, and sent over that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, and he wrestled with him. And he said, "Let me go, for the day breaks." And he said, "I will not let thee go, except thou bless me." And he said unto him, "What is thy name?" And he said, "Jacob." And he said, "Thy name shall be called Jacob no more, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed." And Jacob asked him and said, "Tell me, I pray thee, thy name." And he said, "Wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name?" And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. And as he passed over Peniel, the sun rose up upon him, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh unto this day, because he had touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew, and it shrank. Okay. All right. So this is not the beginning, obviously, because they've been following God this long, but now we get to the part where Jacob is now called Israel. So every time it's referenced the children of Israel, that's where it comes from. That's who they're speaking of. Jacob, Israel is Jacob. Okay. So next week we will begin at chapter 33, and we will see the meeting of Jacob and Esau, and we'll see where that goes from there. So I'm just mulling it over, make sure I don't have any questions myself. But obviously, if you do have questions, feel free to drop them. Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward at this point. All righty, all right. Just taking a second just in case anyone's typing. Okay. You're very, very welcome. I thank you all. I really appreciate you all being here. Again, I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful Saturday. I do have another video dropping, should be later today. Because, yeah, something came up this week. I don't know if y'all saw it, but something came up. They haven't quite talked about it in the news. So I'm gonna do a deep dive on that. So stay tuned for that. And other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow night at 7. All righty. Have a good day, guys. Bye. Yes, me either. I can't wait either, Freddie B. I appreciate your enthusiasm. I can't wait either. So I'm going to go finish that right now. Okay. Y'all have a good day. Bye.